2013 BMW 750 Li with the 4.4 twin turbo. Customer complaint is it's got a couple misfires. It's going to be a real quick video. Hopefully, there's two DMEs, engine computers. They're liquid cooled. Cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got the VCMI hooked up. And if you look here, we're using split screen. Don't worry about these mass airflow codes because we got it unhooked right there. But cylinder 5 misfired. Well, if we got this secondary ignition probe hooked up on our right there, that's cylinder 5. We're using our ignition probe. That's a very crappy looking waveform. So now we're going to go to cylinder 6, which is the one next to it behind it. And that'll be a good waveform. That's a good waveform. Your dwell time, your spark on the KV, and your burn time. So then you go back to cylinder 5. So it's misfiring right now. There's cylinder 5. And it's all distorted when it does. Yeah, now it's looking like really bad. And if you read these codes, it'll eventually shut off the injector for cylinder 5 because it's going to do damaging. And then cylinder 1 has a misfire too. Cylinder 5, combustion too short. Fuel injection shut off for 5. Looks bad there. So they shut the fuel injector off for 5. There's your common P0 300. So 5 and 1. Why is 1 missing? I don't think 1's actually missing. We know 5's bad. If we probe 1 over here, we're going to probe 1 with the ignition probe. I think 1's missing because 5 is actually missing, and it's picking that up between the computers and the imbalance. So there's number 1. That's a pretty good waveform. However, there's no combustion to shutting it off the injector because it's picking that up. So we've got to troubleshoot and see why 5 is misfiring and go from there. Alright, so after swapping coils back and forth and looking at it more, we're back on 5. There's 5. That's a good one. We're reading codes. Don't worry about these mass airflow codes because we've got it unplugged. It makes sure controlling the mass airflow. We'll fix that when we plug it back in. But all the cylinders are good now. Again, when cylinder 5 misfires, it'll throw off 1 and other ones as well. There's no misfires at all now. What was happening was these connectors on these plugs, they weren't connected all the way. We even duplicated ourselves. They weren't snapped in all the way. They're kind of not a very good design on these plugs. They weren't latched in all the way. Now it's causing these misfires. So now we're going to put it all back together, make sure there's no mass airflow codes, run it, make sure everything's good to go.